So, welcome everyone to our HerWILL Data Community Virtual Meetup International Women's Day Special. And obviously, first of all, happy International Women's Day to every one of you. I'm so glad that we're here and we're live on LinkedIn, and we have so many people here. So first of all, let me say something about HerWILL. So HerWILL, the will part stands for Women Inspired in Life and Leadership. And we have a massive department on women in data science, actually women in STEM, and especially women in data science. And I am the lead for HerWILL's STEM outreach. So who am I? I am Tanzim Haq. I came from Bangladesh originally, and I'm based in Germany. Right now, I'm in Amsterdam, and I travel a lot. I studied bioinformatics. Then after graduating, I went to the industry. I started as a junior data engineer in healthcare. And now, well, it's been some time. I'm a senior data engineer now, also back to healthcare. And it's my honor to have all of you here, and it's my honor to introduce our guests, Dr. Tahsina Farah Sanam from Bangladesh University of Engineering and Technology, which is known as BUET. And also, it's my honor to welcome Hanya Elhashemy. She is a master's student from Technical University of Munich, and right now she is sitting in Boston. She's doing her master's thesis at MIT. And well, who we have here? We have our team, our HerWILL team. We have Zareen Haidar. Right now she is in Thailand. Oh, we are a very global team. We have Nurjahan Rupa from HerWILL. She's sitting in Bangladesh. We have Tasneem from HerWILL. She's also in Bangladesh right now. And thank you, Tasneem, for joining. I know that you're on a deadline. You're submitting your master's thesis. Still great that you made some time. And we also have Raima Islam, our newest addition. Yes. I would really like to hear something from Raima, because she's our newest member. Raima, can you say something about yourself?
Thank you, Tanzim, for giving me the floor. Hello, everyone. I'm Raima Islam, and before I continue, happy International Women's Day to everyone. So I joined HerWILL recently in February, and I'm also a recent graduate of Computer Science and Engineering from Bragg University. My interests include bioinformatics and natural language processing, and I'm really excited to be a part of HerWILL, and I'm really looking forward to learning a lot from this community meeting and also from my team. So without further ado, since we have a great number of audiences, I would request everyone to turn on their cameras. I will just take a very quick screenshot of everyone. So I'm requesting the audience participating to turn on their cameras, please. Do we have more people? Okay, we will go forward with it. So I'll say 1, 2, 3. Please smile, everyone. I think, okay. So, okay. So 1, 2, and do we have more people? I think some people are still, okay. So 1, 2, 3, smile. One more. 1, 2, 3, smile. Thank you so much. Tanzim, I'm getting back to you.
Thank you, Raima. You can take another screenshot in the end, or like in between, whenever you see like some other people joining and cameras on. Okay, with that, further ado, I would really like to get back to our guests. So first of all, we have a professor from Institute of Appropriate Technology, Bangladesh University of Engineering and Technology, as I mentioned before. So just a quick introduction of Tahsina Farah Sanam. She completed her PhD from the Department of Electrical and Computer Engineering at Rutgers. And she had her bachelor's and master's from BUET in Electrical and Electronics Engineering. She also worked for some time at Microsoft as a data and applied scientist in speech science team under an AI platform team. And she is an amazing person. I know her personally. The thing is, I know both of the guests personally. It was a pure coincidence. It actually never happens, but just gives me, it's just amazing that how small the world is. So we also have Hanya. Hanya is she is a highly accomplished software engineer and a master's student at Technical University of Munich. And as I mentioned before, she is doing her master's thesis at MIT. Her work is about democratizing data science using the MIT App Inventor. And in addition to her academic pursuits, she's also an active advocate for women in STEM. And here is one fun fact about both of them. Both of our guests today are Grace Hopper scholars. So we will talk about it later on. So I hope you know what Grace Hopper celebration is. This is the largest Women in Tech conference in the whole world. And they were both there last year. And I don't know if they met each other, but yeah, coincidence and coincidences. So without saying too much from my side, I would really like to focus on our guests today. I give the floor to Sanam. Tahsina Farah Sanam, hi.
Hi, Tanzim. Thank you. Thank you so much for introducing me and inviting me in this program. So first of all, happy International Women's Day to everyone. So it was really, yeah, what Tanzim was saying, the world is very small. So when I first hear back from her from HerWILL, I was like really surprised. I knew she was there, but like inviting me as guest and like then proceeding with all these things was really a new experience for me. So yeah, thank you everyone. So let me, can I share my screen?
Zareen, you need to make her co-host. Yeah,
it says,
okay. Try again, your co-host now.
Yes, yeah. Try to, I have to, unfortunately, my webcam is not working. So I have two ID here. So make both of them co-host kindly.
Okay, so while we're figuring that out, I would like to take the time to talk a little bit with the audience. The team knows they're making you co-host. I can see Sarah Zahin. Hi, Sarah Zahin. Where are you from? Where are you sitting? It's like so bright everywhere.
Hi, hi, happy International Women's Day. I'm actually based in Baltimore. I know the weather seems bright, but the sun is deceiving. It's really cold outside.
Okay.
And so a little bit, are we introducing ourselves?
Yeah, I'm just like randomly picking someone.
Oh, okay. Okay. So I'm a pharmacist from Bangladesh, and I started my career in into like the teaching and cardiovascular research, but then I turned into public health. And recently I'm at Johns Hopkins University working on a digital health and equity framework project.
Wow, it's great. I mean, yeah, thank you. You could join us, Sarah, today. So getting back to Sanam, the
Yeah.
co-hosting is working, I think. Yeah. So the floor is all
Yeah.
yours.
Okay, thank you. So actually, as I was talking with Tanzim and also Tasnim earlier, so we had a discussion, like I will talk a little bit about my how I started my career as an electrical engineer, and then how I now ending up the moment I am now. So I will just give brief introduction, although Tanzim has told something about me. So I have done my bachelor degree from Bangladesh University of Engineering and Technology, which is known as BUET. So from the Department of EEE. So BUET is the top ranked engineering university in not only in Bangladesh, also in the South Asia, I would say. So when I did my bachelor's, I started doing my thesis in the signal processing major. And that time my thesis topic was on finding out the noises existent in the in the ECG signals. So it was a really interesting work. And that time, the first time I found the magic or the hidden contents that lie in the signals, and then I thought that I would continue my career in this domain. So that time, when I graduated from my bachelor degree, I started doing my master's from the same department of EEE from BUET. And my master's thesis was in speech signal processing. So the more I was into signal processing or data related research, the more I get interested in the subject. And gradually I decided that I would rather stay in the academia, because that time I felt like if I stay in the academia or in the research field, I would be able to do like more in-depth research in the topics that I'm getting interest in. So later, while I was doing masters, I was appointed as the lecturer in the same university from where I graduated, based upon our academic results and all other stuffs. So I joined as lecturer and continued my master's degree. And when I completed that, I served 2 more years there, and then I went to USA for doing my PhD from the Rutgers University, the State University of New Jersey. So my PhD topic was on the indoor localization. So that was very interesting. So that time, the indoor localization, the concept is that we work on the we know that GPS system works very well for outdoor navigation. We all use GPS for navigating or while we drive. But the interesting thing about GPS is that when we try to do navigation indoor, then GPS, the accuracy of the GPS system is very poor, like 10-meter errors, 10 to 20-meter errors. So that time I started to think that how I can turn the concept of indoor localization. That time when I started indoor thesis of my PhD on indoor localization, that time people were doing like wireless communication based localization approaches. So then I thought that how can I turn this problem into a machine learning problem, that I totally turned the concept into a classification problem where every location will work as a class, and I will try to identify the location. So from that point of view, I started my PhD in-depth research, and then finally published some papers under my thesis and graduated from the Rutgers University in May 2020. So that's about my educational side. So as I was saying that I joined as a lecturer at Bangladesh University before before going to PhD. Then I returned back. Then I again joined as BUET as the assistant professor, and now I am also serving as the assistant professor here. But in between, when I was in USA, I did a summer internship in the very well-known Nokia Bell Lab, which was formerly known as Bell Labs. So at that time, that was a very turning point of my life, because that was the first time in my life I had the opportunity to work in industry. Because as I said, from my BSc thesis, then joining to BUET, I was always in research and academia. And when I did the summer internship in Bell Lab, that was the first industry level work. And I had to do it was only 10 weeks internship. But the interesting thing is that I enjoyed the work so much, and everything clicked so well that 10 weeks work was published as a US patent. So it was I now feel that it was a very remarkable achievement of my life, because 10 weeks is not too long, and completing a task from scratch to end was very challenging. And I was happy that it was published as a US patent, and now it is patented. And later, when I finished my PhD, that time it was like COVID. The whole world was like shut down, and we were not able to come back to Bangladesh to join BUET since I was in study leave. So that time I had to look for jobs, since my scholarship was end at USA, and I had to also do something. So I joined Microsoft for a very short period, you see, from May 2020 to July 2020. It was only a 3 months duration, because we were decided from the very beginning that we will come back to Bangladesh after completing our PhD. Me and my husband, we both did PhD from USA. So I joined Microsoft as a data and applied scientist, and my work there was in the speech science team. And the research topic was to identify the person who is talking in a meeting. Like in this meeting, in this Zoom meeting, we all are talking. Sometimes several people are talking together, me, Tanzim, or some Hania together. So my research topic was from the speech data to identify which person is talking at what time and who is that person. So we did that. I did that with machine learning and AI algorithms during that short time. And after coming back, I had to complete the task. So I did that task voluntarily from here in Bangladesh. So that was all about my job experience. And I already talked about my PhD and MSc dissertation. So if you all want to know about my research interest, so as a whole, my research area lies in the some intersection of artificial intelligence, machine learning, Internet of Things, healthcare, localization, and nowadays I am trying to focus on smart cities and smart healthcare system particularly. So let me, without further delay, I will go back, I will jump into some of my noteworthy research, very recent research that I am working on. So one of them is healthcare decision making. So this is a very recent work that one of my graduate students finished for her master's, as her master's thesis. So this was a very challenging work, because this is when I came back to Bangladesh, I had to start some new research. And also there is a thing that we learned a lot of things while I did my PhD and my master's, right? But when I come back to Bangladesh, and tried to, and I am in the department like Institute of Appropriate Technologies. So the vision of our institute is to find out the technologies that are appropriate for the context of Bangladesh, and not only for Bangladesh, from in some respect for global perspective, which are the appropriate technology for the current time. So the thing is that then I was thinking that a lot of people in our, and the thing was that time the COVID was in the peak situation, a lot of people were dying every day. And we were seeing in the newspaper that people were running from one hospital to another hospital to find out the empty beds. And they were also suffering from different, like they were looking for blood donors, and some other issues also. And they were also not sure how there were different economic condition people in our country. Like, so some people need to know that how longer they need to stay in ICU beds or CCU beds or in the emergency situation. So all these things triggered me so much that I thought I should do something in the healthcare sector of Bangladesh. So that intrigued me to start this project. So me and my graduate student, Saima Suha, we started this work. So the concept is that in the healthcare sector, the decision making is a big thing, right? The doctors take the decisions based upon the patient's condition and also the resources they have available in their existing hospitals or the clinics. So the thing is that, and there is also some clinical evidence of the patients. So there are basically three major areas: clinical evidence, practitioners' expertise, and patients' preference. Sometimes patients have some preference, what kind of treatments they want to take and how much they can afford. So then I thought that if I can take all these components under one umbrella of decision-making system in the healthcare sector, then it could do something promising for our healthcare sector. So if you see from the slides, sorry, you will see that in Bangladesh, this is a developing country. Those who are joining from the other countries, for your information, in our country, the population is very high. And you see that from the first figure, from here, you see that the density for 10,000 people, we have only 3 doctors or 2.8 or like 3 nurses per 10,000 population, which is very which is a crisis situation, right? People need treatment, but they don't get doctors. Then also, if you see this picture, you will see that population per bed ratio. So per bed, the population ratio is 13,000 in one district, Borishal, and the capital city, Dhaka, it is 10,572 and something like that in other cities. And if you see the ICU beds situation in Dhaka, you will see that from 1980 to 2008, the number of demand for ICU beds are increasing cumulatively in our country, because nowadays there are critical conditioned disease are increasing in an alarming rate. So I thought that we can develop a system, healthcare decision-making system, where the disease diagnosis, then resource management of the hospitals and clinics, and also once a patient is admitted in the hospital, he or she needs treatment, so the treatment management. So in every respect, we need decisions. The doctor need to take very crucial decisions from the evidence of the clinical evidence and also from the patient's preference. So I tried to touch these 3 major areas. There are some other areas in healthcare sector, but I tried to focus in these 3 areas: disease diagnosis, resource management, and treatment management, and tried to see if the data of medical records and hospital records and electronic health data, so EHD, So all these together, if I can do something to make a decision system, AI-based, artificial intelligence-based decision support system for our country. And under these three categories, there are some further scope to do research like medication prescription administrations and others, but I focused in the major areas. So my idea was to take the patient data, then I tried to develop a AI-assisted decision-making in patient disease diagnosis and prediction. We know that nowadays, image processing and biomedical signal processing all together helps a lot to diagnosis the patient data. So I tried to, my student and me, we tried to incorporate some novel and new algorithms for the patient disease diagnosis and prediction. Then let us assume a patient is diagnosed with a critical condition so that he or she needs to admitted in the hospital. So when a patient needs to admitted in the hospital, first thing they need to know that in a particular hospital, if there is a empty bed, okay, or if there is available doctors also in the specialized field. So all these things goes under the hospital resource related data. So from that concept, we tried to build up that if a patient needs to diagnosis with a disease, which refers him or her to be admitted in the hospital, then we tried to develop a AI-assisted decision-making in resource management, where particularly in this research, since it's a master's research, it is not possible to do a vast research. So we focused on a particular topic, that how much time a patient needs to stay in hospital. So length of stay prediction from the previous recorded data for different diseases, we tried to predict for a new patient how longer he or she needs to stay in the hospital. So we did that in this phase 2. And then if we assume that a patient is admitted in the hospital, he got the bed, then what comes next? He needs to have some treatment, like, and the patient needs to be closely monitored for his with his vital signs. So we took data from patients' vital sign monitoring, and from those vital signs, we tried to develop phase 3, which is AI-assisted decision-making in treatment management. So what kind of treatment management? Something like, for example, if a patient if a patient admitted for burn injury, we know that the burn patient lost fluid due to the burn. So when they are in the monitoring center in the hospital, in the emergency or in the ICU or CCU, they need to continuously, there needs to be input of the intravenous fluid through their veins. So what happens normally? The doctor and the nurses may check the urine output, measure the blood pressure, check the heart rate, check the pulses, and see some other vital signs. And based upon that, doctors and nurse take decision how much fluid they will give input to the patient. So the thing is that, as I said, in Bangladesh, for 10,000 population, we get only 3 doctors or 3 nurses. The situation is very crucial in our country since our population is very high. So we thought that if we can make a AI-assisted treatment management where the fluid resuscitation rate will be automatically calculated from the patient's vital sign, then we can assist the doctors and the nurse with our AI-based systems from the data. So with all this together, we tried to build a compact decision support system for healthcare sector in our country in an intelligent or AI-based approach. And since it is a thesis, we did some sustainability analysis, that how much feasible the concept is and how much it is possible to implement this concept in our country based upon the current economic and healthcare situation. So we did some, I will go first because I have to wrap up, I have to conclude my session. So we did some deep convolutional neural network based classification for burn. For example, we took the burn patient for the whole thesis because we need to go for an example setup, right? So we took burn patient. So we investigated the severity of burn, how much burn, it is first degree, second degree, or third degree burn. So we identified that with the phase 1 with intelligent decision making in burn severity detection. Then let us say the patient has severe burn and he or she needs to admitted in the hospital. So how longer she needs to be admitted there? So we did a machine learning based regression analysis to identify the length of stay prediction in the hospital for calculating the duration of stay. And if we assume that he or she is staying in the hospital, then he needs to have the fluid resuscitation treatment. And for that, we used a fuzzy inference system based upon the data of the patient, vital sign data. And from that, we calculated the resuscitation rate and we provided that to the patient. So that was one thesis in a very short, which was a very recent complete project. So this project is completed, the healthcare decision-making system in our country. So next, I will go very fast to give you some ideas, some other interesting projects that I'm doing now. One is the AI-driven cognitive computing in e-commerce. So we know e-commerce is very popular in the whole world nowadays, especially after COVID. We all are more into online purchase and online shopping for necessary case, and for sometimes if we don't want to go to shopping mall, we want to do online shopping. So I did some, this is another thesis project of my students where we are taking the customer data from some popular e-commerce sites of our country. And then we are doing trying to identify which are the possible customers who are likely to churn out. So we know that when we do online shopping, some of us visit some online stores some days, then sometimes for reasons or for without reasons, we don't visit that site anymore. So some of us have some reasons, some of us don't have. So based upon my criteria, my shopping pattern, my transaction pattern, my gender, my age, my financial ability, so I tried to collect all these customer data from the e-commerce, some of the e-commerce sites, and tried to see tried to predict the what is the possibility of churning out of a certain customer. So this is customer churn prediction, if you see here. And from that, we tried to identify the customer segmentation. So which are our different segments of customer, which are our regular customer, which are our very high amount, those who do the transaction regularly on high amounts. So who are those, which are those category, who are occasional customers, like that. And we also tried to do some intelligent pricing and personalized product recommendation in this project. So this is another project that I'm running, that intelligent e-commerce section. Okay, so next I will conclude with this one. This is another interesting thing that I am now interested in, smart cities, because the government of our country is emphasizing a lot to move towards the Industry 4 regulation, so that we can keep pace with the Industry 4 regulation that is going all over the world. And one of the primary condition to be updated for Industry 4 situation is that we need to be smart in our every sector, like smart cities, smart commerce, smart healthcare, smart transportation, etc. So from that concept, I was trying to see, since in Bangladesh population is very high, we face a lot of problems in our traffic, in our road and highway systems. So I tried to investigate what I can do to solve this problem so that I can do something for my people to some extent. So from that perspective, I have 2 projects running on smart transportation system. One of them is smart tolling system for Bangladesh. So this is just a summary block diagram of smart tolling system where we are trying to develop. I just want to give an idea how the tolling system works now in Bangladesh. So in Bangladesh now, the cars stop in the toll plaza and they have to, the whole system is still manual. The toll people, toll authority people have to identify what kind of vehicle it is, and then they decide based upon the vehicle category, they decide what will be the amount of toll, and they collect the money in cash in most cases nowadays. So I thought that if we, and this creates a lot of traffic and long waiting time in the toll systems. So I tried to see if I can make it automated. So I built with my student, I built up a system where we are taking, we are planning, the project proposal is that we will have a camera. It will take the number plate image. It will take an image and identify the objects of the number plate from the car. And then from there, it will identify the number plate, license number, and send it to the server. And in the server, there it will calculate what kind of vehicle it is from the number plate, license number. And from that license number, it will identify what will be the toll, and it will go to the app, and the driver or the car owner have to pay the bill from mobile banking system. So that's in summary. It is still in progress. Hopefully it will be done soon. Yeah, so that's, I have some other projects running currently, but that's all, that's the 3 main interesting projects that I wanted to share with everyone today. And interesting thing is that all the 3 projects are data-driven machine learning based approach.
Thank you so much, Sanam. It was like a very enlightening, and it was like, oh my God, I mean, what are you not doing?
No.
Yeah, I think like, yeah, I mean, we really need to talk to you like about this whole thing even more. I mean, this is like amazing. Those are amazing projects, and you're doing so much from Bangladesh. I mean, it's like amazing for myself that, because I know that once you move to a Western country, and usually people don't come back home in Bangladesh perspective. And then, and you went back and you were like doing things sitting in the country. Oh my God. I mean, hats off to you. Hats off.
Thank you so much. As you were saying earlier, we were talking earlier, like it is very difficult. Like, you know, like situation here, first of all, the research concept here is not that much popular that was in USA, right? So there was a culture like do research, make funding, write proposals, but in Bangladesh, it's still in the progress. So we have to fight when we want to do something really research based. We see that there is no data, there is no like support from the peers sometimes. So a lot of things need to be managed so to implement every single project. So yeah, and also motivating the students, like, you know, it's in USA everyone goes, or in Germany or in Europe people goes for taking higher degrees, but here to motivate the student to do some good research is really challenging. And when I see that I can click that motivation into their eyes, I think that's the best achievement for me.
Yeah, no, it's really, really great. Yeah, but I'd be like interested in, I mean, since I know you since school, can you tell like something? I mean, you're such a motivated person, and you did so many things. I mean, I know personally that you were involved in science club and debating club at school, but yeah, do you think like some of these activities help shape your personal and professional goals? And
Yeah.
and the main question is, why did you decide to pursue a career in data science? I mean, you were from electrical engineering background.
The first question is that how my extracurricular activities shaped me to or helped me to become like what I am today. So the thing is that I would suggest everyone that sometimes we think that extracurricular activities hamper our studies or take time from our studies, but actually what it helps us to time management. So one thing is that from the very, like from school, I did sports, I did debate, I did a cultural program. I can do, or I cannot do. I tried to do. So the thing is that it gave me the confidence, one thing, and it helped me to manage the time, because when I knew that tomorrow I have a debate, then I know that I have to complete my study today so that tomorrow it doesn't hamper me. Or if I know that for debating I have to miss some of my class, it helped me to shape that I miss those class, so I have to take those lectures like that. So it helped from the very beginning like that, and it also helped me to speak publicly. It helped me to give me confidence, and it also helped me to do time management. And also it is refreshing. It helps to do positive works when you do some other works than your main works like study or research.
Yeah, right. I mean, yeah. Obviously, like you have to know your priorities, what is right now important, and stuff and everything. But like, can you speak about any challenges that you faced in your school life, or your in university or somewhere, and how did you overcome them? Like maybe one example or something, and how did you manage the challenges in your life, and how did it prepare you for your career, for your life right now as a professor in a university?
Yeah, so that is a very good question. So the thing, I would say that like I am very privileged that I come from a privileged family. My family always support me, my parents, my sister. So up to before going to USA, I actually didn't face I didn't face any kind of problem for my studies. Whenever I wanted to study, I got a peaceful
Yeah,
place
we were
or like
living in
that.
a bubble. Yeah, we were living in a bubble. Yeah.
Yeah, but when I went to USA, the thing is that I went with a 7 months old child. So everyone told me that you go, but you go a little bit later when your son is 2 years old or 3 years old. But I didn't want to have study gap in my career, so I decided that I will be able to do it. Like I didn't pause my study, and I went with my son. But when I went there, I actually felt that what I have done, because everyone was studying, doing research. My professor was asking me for updates, but my son was sick. He wants and in USA there was no one. Like my husband was also doing PhD. He was also busy. So the thing was that at that time I felt there were many moments I felt that I should quit. Like either I should choose my give my son time, or I should properly study. I cannot do half and half both. So then I actually then I tried to think to myself that what would be the solution. I don't want to quit, and I don't want to quit my son also. I mean, I don't want to give him less time. So then I thought I would try to limit my sleep time. So
Oh no.
that was the challenge. And those who are attending, you will not believe, for at a stretch 4 years, I slept 3 hours every day. It was like a horrible situation, but only that thing made me possible to complete my study and giving my son proper time. But what it happened, after 4 years, I gradually felt like I'm losing my memories because regular sleep deprivation caused memory loss. So I'm still suffering from it. So now when I completed my PhD, my doctor told me that from now on, you will never be, you never do sleep deprivation. Don't deprive yourself from sleeps. So now I try to sleep regular, but still I didn't overcome that loss of memory problem. So I forget a lot of things. I still struggle to, for example, a meeting with my students or deadline. So something like that. But yeah, so people have different situation. Everyone will not be like me, but I will say that people have to find out the avenue where which will give him or her the way to pursue his dream or pursue her dream. Because my child was also my very close. I could not accept that for my study I will deprive him. So I am proud to say that I didn't deprive him for a single day. So I did both. I did a great PhD with several publications, but it hampered my health. So, but it was situation because there was no one to help me. My mother didn't able to go. My in-laws didn't able to go. They all were service holder. So I had to suffer it by myself. But I would say if others, for the new generation, if you have support system, try to take help from others. If you have
Yeah,
financial,
this is
or if
important.
you have financial ability, try to keep nanny or someone to look after your child. For us, we were suffering from because we had limited scholarships. So we also struggled with financial issues so that we couldn't keep nannies at home to look after my son. So I had to do that. So I would say try to find out the avenue, but don't quit your dream. Don't give up.
Yeah, that's a great message, Sanam. That thank you. I mean, yeah, I also keep on telling. I have a daughter. She's 12 years old. She's a little bit like me. She's like, no, you made everything yourself. No, I should be able to do it myself. I said, no, sweetheart. I have never done one thing on my own. I had a support system. I had friends who picked you up from school while I was in the university. And on that cue, I'll actually go to Hanya because she kind of like saw some of those moments. Yeah, thank you,
Yes.
Sanam, so much. I'll move
Thank
to
you.
Hanya. Yeah, thank you so
Sure.
much.
Thank you.
So ladies and gentlemen, we're moving to Hanya on that cue that like, yeah, I was a single mom for a long time and I was doing my master's in the same university at Technical University of Munich, like Hanya. And yeah, Hanya, it's your cue. I mean, yeah, I mean, I had support. I did have support. I had my friends. I had a kid. She had to go to school and I was in class or taking classes. So someone had to pick her up. So I never did anything on my own. I had a support system and you take the assistance that you have. I mean, otherwise you cannot move forward with your life. So Hania, your cue. How are you?
Thank you. Thank you so much, Dr. Tahsina. Thank you for sharing your impressive work. I'm really impressed by the work you just shared. Happy International Women's Day to you and to everyone here in this talk.
Thank you.
Yeah, and I want to share the story how I ended up here today. Tanzim was my tutor when I was a freshman 5 years ago in university, and she was my favorite tutor ever. I loved going to her classes. She taught me data structures and algorithms. And this was a relatively big course. I think that has like around 30 tutors or something. She was one of the few female tutors for this course. And during her time slot, there were, I think, 3 other time slots teaching exactly the same exercise sheet she was teaching, but most of them were empty. Her class was full. Like we were sitting on the floor just to attend her class, her tutor session. And I loved going to her tutor session, although like I didn't really love the course that much, but like going to her tutor sessions explained everything to me. I would like know nothing in the lecture, and then go to her 90-minute tutor session, and she would recap to me everything. And one memory I have, when I asked her a stupid question, the excitement that she got, she was jumping from excitement whenever I asked her stupid questions, and she would explain the stuff to us even 10 times if we needed to. And the even more impressive part of the story, she did all of that while having her 5-year-old daughter at this time on one shoulder. So I did meet her daughter in our tutor sessions. And yeah, I think you inspired me to become a tutor the year after. So the year after, I became a tutor for another course, Introduction to Software Engineering. And it's one of the largest courses, I think the largest course, university course in complete Europe even, with over 2,500 registered students. And I enjoyed teaching that course. And I'd always remember you, Tanzim, the way you taught. And I was trying to incorporate some of your styles in my tutor sessions the year after. And I did it for 4 years. And in the 5th year, I even was the instructor of this course, and I held one lecture. And another fun fact or funny part of the story is her sister, Tanzim's sister, was in one of my lectures. So like, wow, like what a small world. And I hope this cycle continues. I hope like maybe your sister gets inspired and she becomes
I mean, when I shared the story that Hanya is coming, so I actually was looking for a student speaker from our TUM Masters Computer Science group, and I texted like, okay, would be anyone interested in it? And then like Hanya said, yeah, I would be like, what's the name of the organization? And can you say a little bit more details? And I'm like, yeah, this is this, I'm this and that. And she's like, oh my God, you're Tanzim, you're that Tanzim. So I shared this invitation on social media, and my sister saw it and she said, oh my God, I'm a fan of Hanya. How did you get her? I'm like, okay. It's a really small world.
Yeah.
And you're sitting in front of whose office is that back there?
Oh, yeah. You know, here at MIT, I'm surrounded by legends, really. Like my professor, Professor Hal Abelson, another legend. And in our research group, so many exciting people. Like the office behind me, that's the office of Tim Berners-Lee. You probably all know him, like the guy who invented www. And got the Turing Award. So it's it's very inspiring to be here. It's such like, I'm very honored of this opportunity to be here and do the research here. And I checked, by the way, another maybe not so fun fact, but only 4% of the Turing Award recipients were women, and we need to change that. We need to have more women winning such big awards in tech and in STEM, recognize more women in STEM. And we also need more female professors. So thank you, Dr. Tahsina. Like you're an inspiration, and hope one day I'll also be a professor standing in front of a huge lecture hall teaching other people and inspiring them to become educators themselves. And I think like through my experience as a tutor, I became more interested in education and developed this love for educating people and education in general. So I became also the student representative in the board of study and teaching. I was representing there 48,000 students, the students of TUM. And I also did research in educational technology. And I will share with you a bit of my education. So I was mainly teaching the software engineering class, but I switched now a bit to data science. Maybe I will share with you later why I changed to data science. But I chose to, for my master thesis, to empower kids with data science. Let me share my screen. So especially K-12 students, empower them by teaching them more about data science. And I'll tell you why, my motivation behind why I chose to maybe switch a bit from software engineering and focus on teaching people about data science. We saw Dr. Tahsina talking about the e-commerce, healthcare, and many other industries. Our world is now data-driven. You find data science in almost all fields, from politics to arts to the medical sector everywhere. And these data science applications are susceptible of bias, and they are taking important decisions that influences our lives. So I believe anyone who does not have some basic data thinking skills is at this point at a disadvantage. Like a simple example of these automatic resume checks, for example. If you don't know how these resume checks work, how this machine learning algorithm works that is reviewing your resume and deciding whether you are a suitable applicant or not, you are at a disadvantage. You don't know how to format your CV in a way that would be accepted by this ML algorithm, for example. But there are other more critical examples, like in surveillance, facial recognition. And Dr. Joy, she was also at MIT. You probably saw her movie, Bias. So the movie Bias was the movie that got me into data science. And her talk and her research there. And it was very inspiring for me. The first week I arrived here in Boston, I went to the MIT Museum and I saw this mask of the movie Bias, the white mask that she put on. And when she put on this algorithm was able to detect her face more. When she took the mask off, the algorithm was not able to detect her face because of her dark skin. And many, many more examples like that. So I wanted to educate people more about data science and lower the barriers to learn about data science. So I thought, okay, where to start? And I wanted to start with people as early as possible. So I'll start with kids. So I decided to empower future generation with data literacy and data thinking. And I chose K-12 students because they are old enough to understand the math, but young enough to change the world. And K-12 is especially a critical year. This is the last year in high school. As a teenager, you get this huge responsibility of having to decide what to study in university, how to transition to university, and you take decisions that might influence your whole career and life in the future. So that was, for me, the right age to address students about data science, maybe like share my passion for data science, get them more excited about tech, try to bind and bridge the gap between computational, statistical, and domain thinking. And especially now, there is a huge buzz about AI. Like you open social media everywhere, AI, ChatGPT, and it's getting exhausting. And this term, this buzzword is now being sometimes used in a wrong way. Like people don't critically think anymore when they hear AI. What is AI actually? What do you mean by AI? When I tell people, yeah, I'm doing research in AI, no one asks me, okay, what exactly your research is. Everyone is just like impressed and thinks I'm smart and is intimidated by this word. But what is actually AI? Most of the time, 80% of the time, I'm just doing data cleanup, yeah? So I wanted to, educate people more about it and add a pedagogical layer to the students so that they look at the data, criticize it, draw conclusions out of it, be able to identify some phenomena in their data, some irregular phenomena. And I want to do this in a fun way and in a way that is also impactful for the students and for the kids. Many educators, when they think about a curriculum, they think about, okay, what do the kids need to learn? But I also want to think about, okay, what do the kids want to learn? What do they want to do? And all kids have now smartphones and have apps, probably also play on these apps. And I wanted them to play with data science. I wanted them to experiment with data science and create data science themselves. So I wanted them to create apps that are impactful for them, where they integrate some data science features in their apps. And I wanted to take them through the whole cycle, from data collection to collect data themselves through their app, to visualizing this data, looking at the data points in a critical way, removing the outliers from their data because they are working with real life data and they need to understand that real life data has outliers. It's not perfect. It's not textbook data that you get in the university. And be able to create a machine learning model, train their data, reiterate, sample their data, train again, see how this would affect their model, etc. So I do this in MIT App Inventor, and I wanna introduce to you MIT App Inventor. I just started my thesis, actually. I'm brand new here in Boston and brand new in MIT. So the work I will present next is not done by me. It's done by an amazing and inspiring team of developers, the MIT App Inventor developers. And these are their slides. It's directed by Professor Hal Ebelson, and the software engineering team is led by Evan Patton. And yeah, so what is App Inventor? App Inventor is this cool platform where you can create apps, and anyone can create apps with any background, and not just any apps. They can create apps that have a global impact and help themselves, help their loved ones, help their country. So really impactful apps, and they don't need to struggle with learning some programming language. They can do this through a graphical user interface. So they have in the middle the simulation of a mobile phone, and they have some UI components they can drag and drop, and even the logic of the app they can create through drag and drop code blocks in their natural language. And App Inventor is supporting 14 different languages, from Indian to English, Arabic, 14 different languages. So really anyone can use it with as little tech background as, yeah, you don't need any tech background to start creating your app. You can do that anytime from anywhere because it's open source and it's for free. And kids been using it in a really cool way. So I think by today, 18 million people are using App Inventor across like 195 95 countries. And yeah, the app or this platform was created or published in 2008. And since then, people have been creating apps, like I think around 85 million apps were created till today using MIT App Inventor. So yeah, it's a huge platform with a huge impact, and I'm really grateful to be a tiny part of it. And I want to share with you some examples of kids creating impactful apps with it. I'd assume most of the listeners are from India, so I chose an example from India, but also it's the example that touched me the most. It's an example from Mumbai, the Dharavi girls. I hope I'm pronouncing it right. And they didn't have, back at the time, as good water infrastructure. So this group of girls learned about App Inventor, and they decided to do something about it. So they had wells where they had to bring water from there to their families. And sometimes these wells would be crowded, or they wanted to have an app that would schedule the visits to these wells and help the community share this shared resource and this crucial resource that you can't live without. So they formed a group, Girls for Change, and they created this app that would really had a huge impact on their whole community. And there are many, many other examples, but this one like stood for me the most, how like anyone from any background, from anywhere in the world can create an app with as little knowledge as possible. And not just any app, it's an app that's directly influencing them, the lives of their loved ones and their whole community, really. Another example is from the US. A group of girls, they created an app for their visually impaired classmate to be able to navigate through their school building. And they won the Verizon Innovation App Challenge for the app they created. And they even got to meet and be honored by Obama at the White House at that time. So it's really amazing. And I'd assume like these kids were really happy to get such recognition for their work. And we're taking it even a step further. Now you don't have to drag and drop components anymore. You can just imagine an idea, say it out loud, and have it created as an app automatically using Apply, a new platform that a team here in the MIT App Inventor group is currently developing. This is a video. I'm not sure if we'll have time to watch the video. I will share the link of this video afterwards, so you get the chance to watch it and understand the idea of Apply. But next, I want to talk about the work I am doing in App Inventor, the data science component. So as I said, I am very new to the team. It's just like the couple first weeks for me, but I was able to already implement part of my vision. So I'm adding this data science drawer with different ML models or different algorithms that the kids could use in their apps, so they can drag and drop in their apps. On the right side, they can specify their data source, be it a spreadsheet, CSV files, live data from sensors even, or whatever data input they have. And then you can see that if you drag and drop these components, you will have these blocks, code blocks that you can drag and drop and have some logic behind your app. So right now, just for an example, I implemented regression and anomaly detection. My focus will be on anomaly detection because I really want the kids to be able to look at the data and identify outliers, criticize their data, remove the outliers and see how this will affect their model, etc. So you have different components like draw line of best fit that you give your X and Y values, but also the different parameters of this linear regression. So they learn about how a linear regression is actually created, the math behind it, and the anomaly detection algorithms that they can also drag and drop, where they either just give it a data set, but also play around with the threshold and see if they change the threshold of this, for example, super simple Z-score anomaly detection algorithm, how that would affect their predictions, how that would affect the output of the identified outliers, etc. So in the future, I plan to add even more types of anomaly detection algorithms so they can see their difference between them and they can just like play around and experiment and just really like learning by doing. And the doing here is as easy as just drag and drop, you know. Yeah, so I'm not sure if we're gonna have time to show you my example app. Tanzine, you need to tell me like how much time we have.
We're going to wrap up like in another 15 minutes. You can say a few words about it, and we can like go into a discussion with like with Sanam and with you and myself, like to talk about like the whole data awareness and data literacy, and exactly what you said, that it's important for the younger generation, the non-techie audience, to understand the importance of data science. We can also take that discussion, like we can start with it 5 minutes later. It's also fine. Yeah.
All right, so I will.
You can show the example.
Yeah. So you remember you asked me like, what are your hobbies? How do you unwind from your stressful day and stressful schedule? And for me, it's archery. I love doing archery. Yeah, it's very therapeutic. It's like, you know, when you pull the string, it's like you're pulling all your stress and all the negativity, and then you release all the stress from the day, from your day. So this is what I like to do. I like archery, and it's very metaphoric. Like you need sometimes to take some steps back for your arrow to shoot and go to the front, you know. So I love doing archery, and this is a picture from last Monday, by the way. They have an archery hall here at MIT on campus, just like 5 minutes away, a 5-minute walk away from my office. So I got inspired by my hobby to build an app, because I was a bit jealous of these kids building all these cool apps. So I wanted to build an app for myself. And I wanted an app that would track my progress and document my arrows score and location. So, you know, here the yellow part is the best you can shoot with the value of 10, 9, etc. You can see from the image. So these arrows, for example, would have this array or like this data of value 0, 6, 7, 7, 8, 8, and the 2 9s here in the middle. But also as an archery player, it is important to have your arrows all collected in one area. So sometimes we even remove these targets and just shoot so that we are consistent and we know to get the arrows all collected in the same way. And we refer to the arrow location as a clock. So these arrows, for example, are collected at 11:30, location 11:30. The left side is a bad example where your arrows are all over the place. And what I did is I took a couple of images from my shooting and from the shooting of my friends with this app, and that was my data set. And that's where I created an app with this like simple anomaly detection and regression models and some classification of these images to document the arrow score and the arrow location. So your best case scenario is to have them collected, and they have them collected in the middle. So this is your like best case scenario. And this is another scenario where you see the location of the arrows. So they are all mostly at 8 o'clock, but you have one here at 9 and one at 10 o'clock. So these would be your outliers in this case. And yeah, creating the app took 10 minutes. This is the code of the app on the left side. And you'll see here the first chart. It's showing the arrow score. So I have, as I said, I had one in the blue, the 6, some in the orange, the 7, the 8, and then the 2 in the yellows. And the line of best fit showing like that I'm progressing. My score is getting better and better every time I shoot. I'm printing out the outliers, the arrow that went completely out, the 0. And I'm also printing out some analysis of these charts so that I know like the slope of my line of best fit. And on the other chart, I am visualizing the location of the arrows. So they were all mostly at 8 o'clock, but we had 2 at 9 and 10 o'clock. And these were printed out as the outliers. So now I have an app that I don't need to remember anymore where I shot, where my arrows went. I can just like, document it through this app and have them shown and visualized on this app, and be able also to like maybe next time eliminate this arrow. Maybe the arrow has an issue, it's broken or something. So I can draw some conclusions and take some actions by observing my data. So I know now how to make more informed decisions. And that was like really just a tiny, simple app created very quickly. And now I'm thinking about distributing it to my friends in archery, that they also play around and try it out. Another example with some sensor data. So this is this data is logged in real time, and this is from a microbit, a light sensor. And you see here, this part is a bit messy, and that's because someone put their hand on the sensor while it was logging the data. And the anomalies are then outlined and visualized on the app that is logging this light sensor data. We can think then later on what to do with this data and what other, how this will inspire us to create more impactful apps, or any other app with any other data source, really. Either we create the data source, get it somewhere from a public data set, or use some sensors like these ones. And yeah, maybe you are inspired. I want to try the next app that you create. I would like to hear some stories. So yeah, that concludes my talk. Let me know if you try it out and create some apps yourselves.
Thank you so much, Hanya. It was like, again, like I'm just like completely flabbergasted. I don't know. I mean, 90 minutes is just too less for two amazing women, honestly. So yeah, I mean, I could like listen to you more and more. And also Sanam, I would have like, yeah, it's just like, yeah, we kind of have to wrap up in 10 minutes. Yeah, you like the audience to you, I say that you can see like there's a change of a scenario on my side. I'm actually on my way to catch a flight, and I have a meeting with the founder and the CEO of HerWILL, Farhana Hassan. She's in London right now, and I'm taking a flight from Amsterdam. And yeah, this is how we roll at HerWILL. So, well, Hania, I do have like, I really would, I want to know, I mean, I had some questions and you pretty much covered it, like what motivated you to join data science. But I also know that you are involved in this women in computer science in the university, in Technical University of Munich, women in CS at TUM. I would actually, yeah, from your experience there, what, like, you were an advocate of diversity, right? In STEM, as I've seen you as what your profile says. Can you share some of the initiatives and programs you have helped created to promote diversity in STEM, or like especially in the university in your professional life?
Yeah, so this is a really amazing group that is very close to my heart. I've been part of this group for like over 4 years now. And this is the group, by the way, that sponsors Grace Hopper Celebration ticket and travel grant to students every year. So I feel like this is one of the big initiatives that we have. I was lucky to receive it once from this group, but also like my contribution to this group came very naturally, like from my needs. Like I was the only woman in sometimes in classes. I wanted to be around more female students. I wanted to be inspired by more female role models. So I thought, okay, why not to be part of this student club and bring more female role models to university and let them talk about their experience, share their journey. So we did it. We created the next day an event where we brought some female role models from the industry to share their work and their career journey. Another day, I was like thinking about, okay, what type of research I want to do. Do I want to go to a PhD or not? And I needed to hear more experience of female PhD students. So what we did, we created an event where we invited PhD students from different chairs at TUM, mainly women, to talk about their PhD and their research topics. And all our initiatives came like from a need. Like we needed a community. We needed to feel like we belong. We needed a safe space that we help each other, support each other in. So we created a community that we don't only just do talks and tech workshops. We also go out together sometimes to enjoy just a girls' night out. You know, we wanted this, and all our events came from a need. So we have a very wide spectrum of initiatives, from, as I said, talks from inspiring people, but also hands-on technical workshops in different fields of computer science. And one of the fun ones I helped organize was a sporty event, a self-defense course. Because also
Wow.
this is a very important skill that we all need to have,
that's
how to
good.
self-defend ourselves. So it was super fun. It was summer, so we went outside in front of our building. There is a green area there. I asked someone from the sports faculty to come give us a self-defense course, and we had around 40 women from computer science learning about basic self-defense moves so that they know how to protect themselves. Stuff like that. Really, it all came from a need.
Yeah, demand and supply.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Exactly. Yeah,
exactly.
I mean, I was a deputy of the women's officer of Professor Anne Bruggemann-Klein for some time at Women in CS at TUM. And you just started at that time when I left. You just started.
Yeah.
We had a very brief time together. I'm really like interested, like to know what's happening as well. Yeah, I mean, we should actually talk about that even more. You mentioned Grace Hopper celebration. So yeah. Sanam, you are a Grace Hopper Celebration Scholar. Hanya, you too. So can you both just say something like, okay, I'll go to Sanam first. So you attended last year. So what was your experience? How is it like? I mean, I myself am a regular audience at European Women in Technology in Amsterdam every summer, every year, except for the Corona years. And it's just like, it's amazing to see so many women together. It was like 2,000 women in one huge hall. But Grace Hopper Celebration is the largest women in technology conference in the whole world. How was it for you? What was your experience? How did you feel? And then the same question goes for you too, Hania, but I'd ask Sanam first.
Okay, so I actually got a scholarship while I was doing PhD. And then when I came back to Bangladesh, I applied as a faculty. Then I again got scholarship as a faculty award. So the faculty award were they were still not allowing too many people from all over the world. So as a faculty scholar, I joined the Grace Hopper Scholarship online in the hybrid mode. And it was, as usual, awesome because the panel discussions, the other workshops, hearing from all over tech women from all those bounds. Like so many women are doing a lot of great things all over the world, and everyone has a struggle story. Like no one came here like very easily, right? Someone has to struggle from the unprecedented group, someone to struggle my family issues or many other issues. So it was really, so what if women take women overcome the struggle? So I don't see the success as a big factor, rather I see how they overcome the hurdles. That actually inspired me the most. And when I attended as a student, PhD student back in 2016, that was also like, oh my God, like that year there was 18,000 tech women from all over the world, and I was like feeling lost, like what is this? So it was really awesome, really awesome. So it's a great experience.
Wow, that's great to hear. I mean,
so what about you,
that's
Hanya?
incredible. Yeah, what about you, Hanya?
I can't but agree. It was the best 3 days of my life so far, I have to say. I even joke sometimes and say, like, when I have salary negotiations, I would make it a requirement that any company would hire me, have to sponsor my visit to GHC, because I need to recharge my energy like that at least once per year, you know? But I have a more twist to the story. So I applied for GHC before, and I got rejected actually for this GHC grant of Women in CS at TUM. And for a long time, actually, I didn't apply for any awards because I wasn't sure if I'm good enough for these awards. And it took me a lot of time.
That's like institutional gaslighting.
Yeah, it took me a lot of time till I like gather the confidence to apply for awards, and ever since I did it, I've been getting them. So I was like, yeah, I should have started earlier. Like I also got a scholarship from the German government, and now I'm at the end of my studies. Like I wish I would have applied earlier, but it's the same with GHC. So I wish they would have applied earlier. It took me some time, and I managed to apply, but I was still not like so confident. And my application reflected that this lack of confidence, and I got rejected. And then I didn't apply again because like I was hesitant. And then Corona happened and it got cancelled. So I was like, oh, I should have applied when I had the chance, because now Corona is cancelled. So the day it got back, I said to myself, okay, I need to write a really good application for that, because I really want to go and I really need to go. So I got it during my second application. I got the grant, and I think I'm really happy about the rejection that I received before, because I got the grant in a really, really good timing, and I needed to go there at this time, because it was after Corona, and Corona was a hard time for every one of us. Like everyone either lost a family member or know of someone who lost a loved one. It was a hard time. And I graduated during Corona, and you know, your bachelor graduation is the graduation you celebrate, right? It's the time you feel accomplished, and you now have a diploma that says you're a legit engineer. You know, this is the celebration you celebrate. And for me, it was a random Wednesday night clicking on the button submit, you know. It was a bit disappointing, and yeah, I didn't feel accomplished at that time. I was so down from all the negative news. So really, GHC came in the best time ever for me. I went there and I got celebrated, and I was like, yeah.
That's why it's called celebration. That's why it's called Grace Hopper celebration.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, this is like really like we celebrate International Women's Day on March 8th, but it's just like it shouldn't be limited to just one day. Exactly. It's like whatever we say, like Mother's Day. Yeah, we buy flowers and cards for our mom. We make bed and breakfast for our moms, but like mom is always there. like us, like
Yeah.
we women are always there. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's like
And
really refreshing. Yeah.
Yes.
And we got a surprise celebration on the last day where they invited Jessie J to give a like a concert, and it was the most amazing thing ever. You have 20,000 smart women celebrating, having fun, and then she sang her song "Bang Bang," which is like also a song that shows like when three women come together, what amazing art they can produce. And in this song, she says, "I will show you how to graduate." And I was feeling this sentence. I was like, yeah, I'm being celebrated here. I realized like the power of us when we come together, the collective power of us when we all women come together, celebrate our achievements. And it was just like really, really inspiring and really amazing. And then maybe I even got more inspired by regular attendees just as much as speakers. Like I met a woman, Fatima, if you're watching this, I met this amazing girl. She was a freshman computer science and very like her beginning of her career. Yeah, first semester computer science student. And the way she was talking with recruiters in that career fair, amazing. And here I am, like a graduate, worked at three huge companies like BMW, Infineon, and Zeiss. And I was following her in this career fair, learning from her the way she was talking with recruiters. And this is just one example. Like there are so many amazing people I met there that really inspired me.
Yeah, that's like yeah, I keep on like, I just, it's like so many amazing stories. I mean, I personally think that both of you, Sanam and Hanya, both of you are actually role models for a lot of women out there. And it would be really great if we could like keep on like doing stuff like this, like today, a bit like not just on International Women's Day, but regularly. And there's the thing that we women, we lack mentors and role models. We need to put you up there, like, okay, these are the role models, we could be like them. So this is like amazing. Even I myself am getting inspired by you girls. This is like really awesome. We are actually getting we're already 3 minutes over. There were a few questions from the registered participant. It was but we have to like wrap it up a little bit, and I have my train is coming in 5 minutes. Just very fast, like in your opinion, both of your opinion, well, I also have my opinion. The question was, do you think that data science and engineering, is it like, okay, if someone else coming from another, it's exactly your subject, Hania, like if someone is from social science or anthropology, can they also get into data science and engineering? So my answer is obviously yes. So what do you say? And
yeah,
how
my
is it
answer is
possible? How
also
can they
yes.
do it?
Yes, it's possible, and it's yes, because as Hania says, data is now everywhere. Even someone from social science, she or he have the social science data. So if she knows, if she loves the data, if she wants to visualize it and wants to get insight from the data, anyone from any field can work with in the field of data science, and it's amazing. Yeah, it's possible.
Yeah, I wouldn't.
Hania, you are
say,
actually working on making a curriculum, right? So
yeah, yeah.
what would you say from your perspective?
So I wouldn't even say they can. I say they should. It's a must nowadays that everyone really learns about data science, because they will come across it. There is no way around it now. As we said, our world is now data driven, and universities also started to change their curriculum and started to change the way they teach. So as a member of TUM's study and teaching board, we now have this idea of plug-in modules. And plug-in modules are lectures for like tech lectures for people with no tech background. And also we're taking it a step further, and we're saying ethics and data science has to be part of every curriculum, for every study program, sorry. Be it arts, science, politics, whatever, everyone needs to have a lecture about ethics and a lecture about data science, and have it like suited to their study program and about like tailored to their study program. And yeah, the curriculum I am like trying to create will be publicly available on the MIT App Inventor website. There are currently already some available material online for everyone to learn and everyone to try it out. We have, for example, another project some people in my team are involved in with prisoners. They are teaching prisoners about data science and about tech in general, about computational action. So really, everyone needs to learn about it. And I'm very happy and grateful of all the open source platforms and all the free material online that you don't have any excuse now not to learn about it.
Absolutely, absolutely. I'm completely with you. Because like I also know like the doctors, the physicians in the TUM in Munich. I also know the new generation of medical students. They are actually learning R so that they can do some basic data analysis for their patients themselves. This is just becoming inevitable. It's inevitable, yeah. And I also like know from Sanam that she's struggling with getting the data for her researches and everything from Bangladesh. There's some sort of like false awareness there and no awareness, something like that. So there is a long way to go. I'm pretty sure about it, yeah. So anyway, it was a great talk with you,
Yeah.
ladies. And I would really like to wrap up now on that note.
Yeah, really
Thank you,
great.
everybody, for participating. And thank you so much for your time, and especially Sanam, you have a kid. And I know that your son had an accident a couple of days ago. He broke his arm. And kudos to all the moms, all the women in
Yeah.
the world. And yeah, women in data science. Go, girls. Okay. So thank you so much.
Yeah,
We
sometimes
are going
kids also
to...
help us a lot. You know, for this
True,
meeting, he's
true.
waiting.
Oh,
Yeah.
good boy, good boy.
He supports me. He also supports
That's
me.
good.
Yeah.
Yeah, my daughter did that too. I mean, I used to take her to my classes, and then Hanya told that, like, yeah, she was in the class with me. Yes, I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, but yeah, with that note, I would like to wish you all again a happy, happy, happy International Women's Day. Thank you so much, everybody. Thank you, whoever had the patience to stay till the end. I'm so glad. The video is live on LinkedIn. We're going to stop broadcasting live, and Zoom recording will be available in a couple of days on YouTube. And I'll get back to you all. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you,
Happy
Tanzim.
International
Thank you,
Women's Day.
Hania. And thank you,
Thank you.
everyone. Happy International Women's Day.
Happy International Women's Day. I'd requested the host to stop the meeting.